All right, Team FXG, hope everybody's having a great day. My name is David Dotan. Welcome to the David Dotan Show. For those of you who do not know me, majority of you watching the show likely do. Okay, so what are we going to go over today? Well, we're going to go over any small updates. We're going to go over the pairs that we're interested in, okay? And then we're going to talk about zones and how to add zones. I think that's one of the keys here, okay, for a lot of you is how to add zones. Because once you properly learn how to add zones, it's very easy, right? It's essentially understanding, okay, well, this is the level of sensitivity where buy pressure and sell pressure is going to meet. And if buy pressure breaks to one direction, to the upside, for example, then they have control and vice versa. So adding zones is the key because that is completely eliminated if you don't place your zones properly. So we're going to go over the zones in the chat room here on YouTube. Please make sure to, if you wish to have a certain pair done from top down, please let me know there. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to chat. We're going to get going here. All right, so I'm just making sure everything's proper and done. Good. Okay, so U.S. stimulus plans now pushed back after elections. Okay, that was relatively expected. We're getting very close to elections, so there's no reason to put out the stimulus plan prior. Okay, as things can change now. What does that do? Okay, that doesn't bring market sentiment up. Okay, we have also very low confidence levels here in October with market data. All right, virus numbers are picking up, so we're likely going to see continued weakness in the USD. Okay, weakness in countries that are struggling due to economic outlook, and then also we're going to likely see continued strength here in safe haven status like the Swiss franc and yen. Okay, so that's a scenario. In terms of fundamental direction and strength, okay, nothing much has changed. We have Bitcoin at a positive 7.3, yen at a positive 1.4, Kiwi at a positive 1.2, Swiss franc at a positive 2, euro at a positive 1, gold's at a negative 1.2 at the moment, Aussie's at a negative 1.6, Cad's at a negative 2, pound's at a negative 2.1, and USD is at a negative 3.5. Now, why would gold be at a negative 1.2 and Bitcoin be at a positive 7.3 and Swiss francs on the positive side and yen is on the positive side as safe havens? Why is gold at a negative 1.2? The reason why gold's at a negative 1.2 because it comes down to the price of gold. It's overpriced. Okay, we're reaching higher highs. What did we say yesterday, right? If you didn't watch yesterday's live session, I strongly suggest you do. Okay, what we said was that when gold is at its highest, liquidation happens and it moves into other safe haven status. And then when gold comes back down to a more affordable price, liquidation from other safe havens go back into gold. This is how we get that consolidation period at higher highs when things are going wrong. Okay, so in my opinion, all right, that doesn't mean, although gold is on the negative side, doesn't mean it's not a safe haven status. It just means that it's overpriced. Okay, so we're going to go right into it. We're going to go over the pairs. And then we're going to go over adding zones, okay? So please let me know in the chat room if you want to, if you want me to add zones on a certain pair. We're going to start from scratch, meaning monthly time frame on blank charts. It's very important you understand how to add zones. It's probably one of the most important things. Okay, so taking it to the charts. All right, we're going to start with, we're going to go here. We're going to go, okay, by the way, just want to say, as you all know, FXG Gentleman Markets is a completely new platform. With that being said, there are some things that require bug fixes and changes. Okay, verified members. Only I have been able to change my traffic light signals. Verified members have been not. But however, that bug has been fixed right before I came on the live session. So they will now, and we let them know, they are now able to add, change, and do all that stuff. There have been a couple bugs, okay, and there are still on the platform. However, the platform is working relatively fine, and all these little things will be fixed, and all the new additions will be added over the next couple weeks. Okay, so here we are on the traffic light systems. We're gonna go over my trades. Okay, so Euro USD long, it's still showing as red, so we're gonna go over this and we're gonna talk about why we're still showing it as red. Okay, so red just means that price is not near entry yet. Okay, once we see the break to area sensitivity, then it goes into yellow, and then once we see price action entry confirmation, it then goes to green. Okay, so here we have a horizontal area of buy and sell sensitivity, right? This is our monthly upper zone, monthly weekly mid-range, and our monthly lower zone, right? Because in between our monthly zones is our weekly zone. All right, so here we have a strong push to the downside, exhaustion, continuational push, failing to break previous low. Price had fundamental and technical support as we start to see more strength in the euro. Okay, price moving back to the upside. Now, as mentioned many times, it's very important to understand the information we get when price reaches area sensitivity is extremely strong, right? So for example, when price just breaks, when buy pressure breaks sell pressure to the upside like this, cutting right through a significant area sensitivity, being our weekly mid-range zone, rather than actually coming back for an impulse move showing sensitivity, that tells us that there's a tremendous amount of buy pressure. That buy pressure has complete control. So as we take it down to the weekly, what do we see here? That's a push to the upside. What's after a push to the upside? Exhaustion. What's next? Potential continuational push. All right, so continuational push is telling us potential entry to the upside. Excuse me, just need some water. All right, what's our fundamental direction? Euro's at a +1, USD's at a -3.5. So we have a stronger fighter and a weaker fighter, which means our fundamental direction is to the upside. So when we have fundamental direction to the upside, technical entry to the upside, our flow is telling us to the upside. So what are we looking for? That's right, entry to the upside. So when we take it to the daily time frame, we identified area consolidation, okay? Here we have horizontal sell pressure. Here we have horizontal buy pressure. This is level of consolidation, meaning that buy pressure, its last level of battle with sell pressure before reaching its higher time frame downtrend is at previous high, upper level of consolidation. So what are we waiting for? The push. Okay, then the traffic light system will go to yellow, exhaustion, and then price action entry confirmation, and it'll go to green. Okay, now it's vital that we see price action and entry confirmation at completion of exhaustion, or else this will happen, right? What's this? Push to the upside. What's after push to the upside? Exhaustion. Did we see any price action confirmation? No. Did we see it on the 4H? No, right? Sell pressure needs to find, and then if buy pressure was to continue to the upside, if there really was a continuational move here, we would have saw an injection of buy sensitivity at completion of exhaustion. Instead, price broke back to the downside. So what's that? That's a stop hunt, right? Boom. Okay, here we go. Push to the upside. What's after a push to the upside? Exhaustion to the downside. Did we see price action entry confirmation, meaning a second injection of buy pressure? No. Exhaustion became a push back to the downside. That's a lower time frame stop hunt, right? Higher time frame pin bar. So it is vital that no matter what we do, and this is just good examples, but this is on any pair, on any time frame, it is vital that we wait for price to make a full and complete push. Then we wait for full and complete exhaustion with price action and entry confirmation before a continuational move. Winners enter at completion of exhaustion. Losers enter at a completion of a push. Okay? Got it. Perfect. Okay, moving on to the next one. What do we have next? Okay, so Euro USD, you understand why it's still red, because price has failed to fully make a push yet. Once we see that push, it will go yellow. Okay, Aussie USD, monthly time frame. Here's our monthly upper, monthly mid, monthly lower zone. Okay, we have a push, exhaustion, continuational push. All right, now as price changed direction, right, we had government and institutional support due to debt, right? We spoke yesterday about why governments want to hold debt, all right? So as things started to change, as we start to see some strength in the Australian dollar after the virus started to spread around the world, so we had more strength in the Aussie and weakness around everything else, right? So we had also USD as a safe haven status at the time the virus was spreading. So that means that tremendous amount of weakness in the USD as Aussie was gaining some strength back. Okay, so we had technical and fundamental support, price moving back to the upside. Okay, this is a push, What's after a push to the upside and exhaustion to the downside? What's next? Continuational move. All right. So fundamental direction is where? To the upside. Aussie's at a negative 1.7. USD's at a negative 3.5. Even though the Australian dollar is weak, the US dollar is much weaker, and I believe will be continuously weaker until elections. Okay, and then it could go weaker or stronger depending on how the elections go. All right. So flow, push, exhaustion. What's next? Potential continuational push. That's right. On the daily time frame, what do we see here? Take a moment to think about it. Double confirmation, right? Exactly. Push, exhaustion, significantly strong push, right? Not much bullish movement here, so that requires double confirmation. Impulse move to the upside. Stop losses, take profits, market buy limit orders, market reaction to area sensitivity. So here is impulse move 1. Okay, retest, second injection of buy pressure. This is second injection, which means double confirmation. This is what confirms a change in direction. Okay, now, with that being said, we still want to wait for price to break its next level of significant sell pressure. We are high probability traders. We want to enter high probability entries because what we focus on is our win percentage. Okay, I'm a quality over quantity type guy. I do not care about quantity. Okay, too much stuff. It's like in real life, hoarders, right? People that have too much stuff, they start hoarding. Next thing you know, their life becomes messy. They don't know where things are. It's about quality. Anything you bring into your home, any trade you enter, anything of that nature, make sure it's quality, or else it's better to just keep things simple. All right, Aussie USD, we have buy pressure at second, right? Double confirmation. This is our second injection of buy pressure. So buy pressure has seen a second injection, right? So we have buyers now marching to where? Their next level of significant battle, being higher time frame downtrend. Then when price breaks to this level, where's its next level of battle? That's right. It's 4-hour mid-range zone. As you can see, horizontal area, buy and sell sensitivity. And that's why I'm waiting for an entry to the upside after that break. But as mentioned yesterday, if there is an exhaustion from here and price action and entry confirmation, it wouldn't be a negative play to enter here as long as we have a reinjection of buy pressure at exhaustion, right? But for me, someone who's trading more of a heavier account, someone who likes, again, winning, my win percentage is really all I care about. All right, here's a push. Here's exhaustion. Okay, we're waiting for price action and entry confirmation before a move to the upside. All right, next one. Cad Yen, okay? As you can see, Cad Yen is now yellow. All right, so let's go to Cad Yen. Talk about entry. We're getting close to entry here, okay? So the Canadian dollar right now is at a -2, okay? And the yen is at a positive 1.2, okay? So we have a weak pair versus strong pair. Fundamental direction to the downside, which means we're only looking for technical entries to the downside, right? What about the long-term play? Will the Canadian dollar see strength in the short term? Probably not. Virus cases continuously increasing around the world. Lockdowns are starting to happen. Supply-demand curve is starting to weaken, which means price of crude oil is going to move down, or WTI, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and Canadian dollar is strongly correlated. So in my opinion, we're going to see continued weakness in the Canadian dollar and maybe continued strength in the yen because it is safe haven status. And as a lockdown continues to happen, money tends to flow into safe haven status, right? So, in my opinion, our fundamental direction to the downside is relatively protected, okay? We know that elections can cause movements. As far as the movements in the Cad Yen will be weaker than movements in any USD pair. However, in the long term, I believe our fundamental direction stays the same. So Cad Yen on the monthly time frame. Here's our monthly upper, here's our monthly lower, here's our weekly upper and weekly lower, okay? Push, exhaustion, continuational push, okay? Price failing to break previous lows. All right. Now, here's a push, here's exhaustion. What we're waiting for is continuational push to the downside, right? Now, what's important with this flow? Remember, you always want to keep higher time frame flow in mind when you're looking at lower time frame movements. And what that is we're waiting for a potential double confirmation. This move to the upside is a higher time frame impulse move. Think about this. Here's a strong push, right? So after a strong push, do we see any bullish movement here? Do we see anything? No, it's just pretty much a dive, a nose dive to area of sensitivity. That means that there's a tremendous amount of sell pressure here. So that means that we would wait for double confirmation, but that doesn't mean we won't have an impulse move to the upside. We know that that's take profit, stop losses, buy limit orders. So this is a higher time frame impulse move. Price is seeing protection, sell protection to the upside, also fundamentally supported, right? Price has tried to break to the upside once, twice, 3 times, failing to do so. That's fundamental reasons, but also technically supported by sell pressure supporting the upside, right? Why? Horizontal sell pressure from our weekly zone, lower zone, and higher time frame downtrend. There's a lot of sell pressure there, right? So higher time frame push to the downside, impulse move. We're seeing sell pressure as expected, and potential higher time frame move back to the downside for double confirmation or continuational push, whatever you want to call it. So our flow is to the downside. Our fundamental direction is to the downside. So now it's time to look for technical entries to the downside. As we take it to the daily time frame, okay, what do we see here? We see, again, horizontal sell pressure. Now, this is our weekly lower zone, okay? I'm going to bring it back to the weekly time frame so you can see here our daily mid-range. All right, as you can see, if we bring it back, this is our daily mid-range zone. Buy pressure, sell pressure, buy pressure. This is an area of sensitivity. And why we've identified this area of sensitivity is because we need to know where our final target's going to be. And maybe you're asking yourself a valid question saying, hey, Dave, but why wouldn't our final target be at previous low? And my answer to that would be, well, listen, the closer we get to our monthly zone, we know that there's going to be a tremendous amount of buy pressure. So actually, the closer we get to our monthly zone, the less odds, the less percentage chance we have of actually reaching our final target. I believe we're going to have a comfortable time reaching our mid-range target. Again, I'm about my win percentage a lot. As long as my risk reward is good and my money management is proper, I'm about my risk percentage. Okay, let's take it back down to the daily again. So we identified our weekly lower zone. We identified our daily mid-range zone. What's in between? What's after the weekly time frame and the daily time frame? The 4-hour time frame. Perfect. So here's our 4H mid-range zone. Sometimes you have an upper zone and a lower zone. Sometimes it's just one mid-range zone. In this scenario, it's just one mid-range zone. Horizontal sell pressure meeting horizontal buy pressure. Okay, so let's simplify. Like really, let's simplify. Right? If sell pressure is able to beat buy pressure at our 4H mid-range zone, it's got free range to where? Meaning high probability chance that it will make its way to its daily lower zone, right? Perfect. So now we're looking for an entry to the downside. Let's scope it for entry, okay? So here we have push to the downside, okay? And again, the bug was just fixed before the live session, which is why I was not able to move this to the yellow until just before. Okay, here's a push to the downside. It would have been yellow then. However, price made exhaustion, all right? And what do we see here, okay? So here's a push, here's exhaustion. Now, here, before we get into entry, I just want to say this. Entry is very unique, okay? You may hear me say, we wait for the push, we wait for exhaustion, enter our price action, entry confirmation. But there's all these little fine details within price action and entry confirmation that separate the good traders from the bad traders, or the good traders from the average traders. And the reason why I say this is because it really just comes to understanding. If you're trading based on knowledge, you'll be able to figure it out. If you're trading based on memory, you won't. And let me explain. Okay, so again, push to the downside in simplicity. We're simplifying the complicated here. Push to the downside. What's after push to the downside? Exhaustion to the upside. Now, we know we're waiting for price action confirmation. What's price action confirmation? That is a bearish engulfing candle in this scenario. Do we see a bearish engulfing candle at price action confirmation? Yes, we do. All right. Here we have a bearish engulfing candle. What does that mean? That means that sell pressure beat previous low of the previous candle. Area of sensitivity, okay? Move to the downside. But would you consider this a significant bearish engulfing candle? Probably not, right? And what is the one thing that is a little iffy about this candle. It is this pin bar right here. It is this pin, excuse me, not bar, but it's this pin. Wrong way, but okay. See that right there? Now, what does that mean? Okay, let's think about this for a sec. All right. So, price opens here, right? We're the opening of the bearish engulfing candle is right here. Okay, then buy pressure started to move to the upside and push and try to test our 4H mid-range zone, right? This is what's happening. Buy pressure is pushing, pushing, pushing. Forgot to share my screen. Okay, here's the pin. Okay, bearish engulfing candle. All right. Opening of that pin bar, opening of that bearish engulfing candle, buy pressure, pushing, 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 testing our 4H mid-range zone to the upside. Okay? Sell pressure saying, no, no, no. Sell pressure enters and pushes back to the downside, right? Push, 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 push. Now, when price got to this level, I would have loved to see the candle close here. That's a strong bearish engulfing candle close. But as you can see at the previous pin of that bar, buy pressure started to enter before the close of that candle. Okay? And because of the buy pressure entering at the close of that candle, that makes me a little worried, a little iffy, a little bit more, not worried, I should say. It just makes me more as if like I should pay more attention here. I should really dive in and see if this is going to work, okay? So, that's exactly what we're doing. Nonetheless, we do have price action confirmation. Remember, we're looking for price action confirmation and entry confirmation. So here we have price action confirmation on the 4H. What do we do when we have price action confirmation? We go to the 1H. Okay, so this was that candle on the previous time frame. Right here, that bearish candle, right? We had sell pressure push to the downside, and then we had buy pressure pushing back to the upside. So what's happening? Okay. Horizontal buy pressure here. Buy pressure on a horizontal level. What are we looking for? We're looking for push. We're looking for exhaustion. And then on the 1 hour time frame, we're looking for entry confirmation. Let me explain this. Okay, because this bearish engulfing candle here on the 4 hour time frame was not that great. We saw buy pressure at the completion of this candle. All right. For that reason, when taking it to the 1 hour time frame, I have to be a little bit suspect that there is buy pressure in the market. I do see here that we have horizontal buy pressure, as you can see, push, exhaustion, this continuational push, right? So this is a 1 hour push to the downside. What's next? Exhaustion, and then continuational push, right? Boom. Continuational move. All right. Failed to break previous low. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of messages right now that I'm looking at. Okay, failed to break previous low. So what we know is this is a horizontal area of significant pressure, buy and sell pressure. Move to the downside, exhaustion. We're looking for a continuational move. Okay. At a completion of exhaustion, we're looking for reinjection of buy and sell. We're looking for entry confirmation. Excuse me. Just got a message here from my lawyer. Not too happy. Okay, push to the downside, exhaustion, entry confirmation. We already have price action confirmation on the 4H, correct? This is price action. So now we're just looking for entry. On the 1 hour time frame, push, exhaustion, reinjection to sell pressure for a continuational move. Okay, so our entry will be moved. Which means what? Our targets will be moved. Okay. Boom. SL where? TP1 is now TP2. TP3 is now TP2. All right, TP1 is gone. SL adjusts 79.673. All right. So boom, that's what we got. Why is our SL where it is? We know that there's horizontal sell protection here. Okay. So we know that if price is going to come back to the upside, we have sell pressure protecting our stop loss. Why is it not just above our area of sensitivity? Because we're looking for lower time frame area of buy and sell pressure. I'm looking to be slightly above this level. Okay, so we have higher time frame sell protection and lower time frame sell protection. Okay, push, exhaustion, continuational move to the downside on Cad Yen. Okay, moving on. Again, remember, this is yellow. Once we see price break and close beneath this area of buy pressure, I'll likely turn it to green so that you guys have a little time, so that members have a little time to prepare for entry. Okay, so Cad Yen, we're getting very close to entry. All right, our next one here will be what? It is pound USD. Here's our monthly area of sensitivity. Here's horizontal sell pressure, horizontal buy pressure. Here's what's in between our monthly zones. Here's our weekly upper. Here's our weekly lower. Here we're seeing a push to the upside, exhaustion to the downside. What's next? Continuational push. All right. Push, exhaustion. What's next? Continuational push to where, if price is able to break this level of sell pressure being our weekly upper zone, it's moving to where? Its next level of what? Sensitivity, right? Horizontal level of sell sensitivity. So pound is at a negative 2.1, USD is at a negative 3.5. Pound is slightly stronger than the USD. All right, that doesn't mean that this is going to stay the same. This could be one of the trades that become invalid, because what we do need is for price to break our weekly upper zone to the upside. Buy pressure needs to make its way and beat sell pressure to the upside with the push. What's after a push to the upside? Exhaustion to the downside, where then we're looking for price action and entry confirmation for continuational push to our next level of significant sell pressure, okay, being our monthly upper zone. All right, so this trade is still invalid, still red, okay? It will go to yellow once we see that push to the upside, okay? Next, we will have a signal on this pair today, okay? Aussie Cad, we may see an entry here shortly, all right? So this is something I saw here before going on to the live session. I'm going to be posting a signal right away for the team in the FXG Gentleman Markets. Okay, here are our monthly zones. What's in between our monthly zones? Weekly upper, weekly lower. This is a push to the upside. What's after a push to the upside? Exhaustion to the downside. What's next? Potential continuational push. What's our fundamental direction here? Aussie is a positive negative 1.6, Canadian dollars at a negative 2. Okay, I believe we will see continued weakness in the Canadian dollar again due to virus cases spreading and the fact that we're likely going to see a lot more lockdowns and the demand for crude oil collapse again. Okay, so fundamental direction to the upside right now. In the future, likely continue to the upside, so we're only looking for technical entries to the upside. Okay, so here's our push. Here's after push, exhaustion. What's after exhaustion? Continuational move to the upside. Okay, taking it to the daily time frame. Lower lows, right? Here we see lower lows. So what's happening right now? Think about this. Buy pressure saw a reload at higher time frame completion of exhaustion. Fundamental directions to the upside. Buy pressure is making its way not only to lower level weekly zone, but also breaking this zone to the upside with the push. Okay, when we take it to the 4-hour time frame, what are we looking for? Exhaustion, right? And a continuational move, because if price finds a reinjection of buy pressure, it's going to make its way to where? Its weekly upper zone. Okay, so Team FXG, for those of you watching the live session, you have to join the membership to get the targets, but Team FXG, we're going to be looking long here on Aussie Cad. A signal is going to be coming up along with the targets associated to that signal. Okay, so we are now going to talk about zones. We're going to be going over a couple pairs, and we're going to be doing zone breakdown. On the YouTube chat room, If you can, please let me know if you want me to break down a pair. Okay, which pair? I just need a second as well to reply. This is a thing of doing a show by yourself. All right. Okay. We're going to be moving forward. Let's see here. All right. Hector and Adan. Okay. Euro USD. We're going to do, all right, from scratch. And then we're going to do Euro Kiwi. All right. As you can see, I've done some stuff here in the past. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. All right. When adding, don't worry, I'll remember to share my screen. When adding zones, what we're trying to do is we're trying to simplify the complicated. We're trying to identify where is the battle between buyers and sellers. That's all we're trying to do. Okay? Because we know in simplicity, if buy pressure, for example, is supposed to reach an area of sell pressure and it breaks to the upside, what does that mean? That buyers have control. But what's so important about that? We have to identify where sell pressure is or where that area of sensitivity is, for example. Okay, and if you don't identify properly where that area of sensitivity is, well, then you're making false, you're getting false information. You're thinking that buy pressure is breaking when sell pressure is not, when it's actually not, for example. Okay, so adding zones is significantly important. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start on the monthly time frame. Okay, we always start on the monthly time frame. All right, because it's like the Google image example I showed you in our live session 2 or 3 live sessions ago, right? If you're down in a city you've never been before, on a street that you've never been before, and I say go to some famous location, you're going to be like, which direction do I go? You have to zoom out to understand where you are, okay? So that's exactly what you do. You always start on the monthly time frame, okay? So here we are on the monthly time frame, all right? And what we're going to do is, first thing I do is I usually compact it. I want to see everything from the history of where it began, okay? So here we have what? Mid-range. Okay, actually, you know what? Sorry, I got a little rattled from the text message I just got from my lawyer, to be honest with you. The one I'm firing now after this. Okay, so Euro USD on the monthly time frame. We have a monthly. What we do is we want to add a zone. Just bring it across on the chart. And you want to start bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down. Okay, so let's do it. Let's start from the bottom. Okay, what do we see here? Horizontal buy pressure. Okay, we see sensitivity, but really horizontal buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure. Okay, we know that price is significantly having a strong, hard time breaking to the downside from this level. So this is one level of monthly zone sensitivity. All right. Copy paste, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. What's next? Boom. Another area of sensitivity. Why? Buy pressure. Buy pressure, meaning sell pressure. Copy paste, move it up, move it up, move it up. Okay. Here, sell pressure. Okay, now you could, if you want, there's nothing against it, there would be nothing wrong with it, to do it like this, right? You could put it at previous high, because we know that if price was to make its way to previous high, that this level would act as an area of sensitivity. You don't really need to, right? You can focus on where price is trading and its next level above it, okay? So here we are on Euro USD, guys, okay? This is the beautiful thing about simplicity, okay? We've identified our monthly upper, monthly mid, monthly lower zone, okay? We know that buy pressure is making its way to its mid-range zone. If buy pressure is able to beat sell pressure at its mid-range zone, then it's going to make its way where? That's right, to its next monthly zone. All right, so now, what's after the monthly zone? It's a weekly zone. So I always change the color of my zones. And the reason why I change the color of my zones is because I want to know which area of sensitivity is correlated to which time frame, right? So sometimes you'll have a weekly upper and a weekly lower zone, or sometimes you'll just have a mid-range zone. Okay, in this scenario, what do we have? Well, we have to take it back and look at sensitivity. So, well, no historical sensitivity here. Okay, so now we're going to take it here. What do we see? Cell pressure, all on a horizontal level. Buy pressure. This is an area of sensitivity, clearly. Okay, so boom, what happened? Buy pressure was able to beat sell pressure at a weekly mid-range zone. Where did it go next? It's next level of sell pressure, right? Perfect. So now, let's identify a potential weekly mid-range zone in between these two levels of in between these two monthly zones. Okay, because we know that if buy pressure is going to break this monthly mid-range zone, it's going to make its way to where? Its next weekly mid-range zone, its next area of higher time frame sell pressure. So what we want to do is we want to take it back. In this scenario, sometimes it's best to also take it back on a monthly time frame to see the weekly. So what I'm trying to say is this: sometimes you can identify the weekly mid-range zone better on the monthly time frame. Sometimes you can identify the daily mid-range zone better on the weekly time frame, and so forth. Okay. All right. So we're looking for our weekly mid-range zone between these two monthly zones on the higher time frame. Can I see anything here on the monthly? Well, I do see some buy pressure here. I'm just going to add this. It might not be perfect. When we take it to the weekly, I'm going to make it more, I'm going to make it perfect. Okay, we might have a weekly upper, weekly lower zone. We might just have a weekly mid-range, all right? So why am I adding this potential lower zone? Well, here I see what? Sell pressure turning into buy pressure on a horizontal level, turning back into sell pressure. Okay, that seems to be like a weekly lower. Can we copy paste, potentially put a weekly upper somewhere? Not super clear. As you can see, our weekly lower is much clearer than our weekly upper. So let's take it to the weekly time frame to identify. Okay, so our weekly upper zone. Okay, so here we can see horizontal sell pressure. We see horizontal sell pressure turning into buy pressure. Okay, this is a bit of a mess, but we do see some buy pressure and into sell pressure. See, again, buy pressure, now sell pressure. This isn't a level of sensitivity before our monthly upper zone. So really, what's the scenario here, team, when we take it back? Okay, well, very simple. If buy pressure is able to beat our monthly zone to the upside, it's going to make its way to where? It's weekly lower zone, right? Perfect. So now let's take it to the daily time frame. Okay, this is how you add your zones, right? Very simple. All right, so what would be the scenario here in terms of just zone play? Okay, again, just waiting for buy pressure to beat sell pressure at its monthly zone and then make its way to its weekly lower. Okay, so that's it for Euro USD. All right, Euro Kiwi next. All right, here's our monthly upper, monthly mid, monthly lower zone. What's in between? Actually, sorry, we're not doing an analysis. As you guys can see, my mind is at the lawyer side of things right now. All right, we're going to be doing the zones from scratch. Okay, boom, boom, clean everything up here. Charts I haven't seen in a long time. All right. Okay. First thing we do to add our zones, what do? Monthly time frame, we bring it all the way back out, right? We identify every identifiable chart, every price action layout on the monthly time frame, okay? That's what we're going to do. Then what do? We add a zone. Okay, we change it to our monthly color. I like blue. Then what do? We start to drag it down. We look for horizontal area of buy and sell sensitivity. Boom. Why is this? All right, well, look, sell pressure here. We have sell pressure here. We have the pin touch here. Sell pressure, sell pressure. Area of buy and sell sensitivity. Okay, I want to bring it back. This one I want to bring to my lower zone here. What's this? Okay, horizontal buy pressure. Boom, boom, boom. Why did I not add any monthly mid-range? Because as you can see here, there is some sensitivity. Actually, we could add a monthly. This could be your weekly or monthly. Like, for example, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really make a difference if you've added a weekly mid-range zone here or your monthly. And why is that? Because for hypothetical reasons, if price was making its way to its mid-range zone, it's still an area of sensitivity. We don't really care if it's a weekly or monthly. We know that price needs to break that level to the upside or to the downside. So don't really worry if you're like, well, is that a weekly zone or is that a monthly zone? Just identify area of sensitivity, okay? In my opinion, I'm more of a weekly. This is more of a weekly, okay? This is a monthly lower, and this is a weekly mid-range, okay? So let's move this proper. Again, horizontal buy pressure turning into sell pressure, just identified area of sensitivity. Okay, then when we take it to the weekly time frame, what do we see here? Push, exhaustion. What's next? Potential continuational push, okay? However, fundamental direction may. As you know, we're not interested in Euro Kiwi entry. There's nothing that we're interested in about this pair right now. Euro is at a +1, Kiwi's at a negative 1.2, so the fundamental direction is to the downside. So you'd actually only be looking for an entry to the downside. But let's say we've now identified proper analysis, right? We've done our proper zone. If we were looking for an entry to the downside, where would our final target be? That's right, our weekly mid-range zone, because we now know that this is a significant area of buy sensitivity. Now, we've identified our monthly, we identified our weekly. What's in between? What's after that? That's right, our daily. Okay. Again, sometimes you want to take it up higher time frames to identify potential area of sensitivity. Okay, that's what I've done. Here's some buy pressure turning to sell pressure, some buy pressure across the board. Okay, we have some, maybe it's got to be up slightly. Okay, what's this? Sell pressure. Okay, so this is a weekly mid-range area of sensitivity. Now, daily mid-range area of sensitivity, is our daily zone more important and more sensitive than our weekly? No. Is our weekly zone more sensitive than our monthly? No. So, in the event, for example, price is able to break our weekly zone to the upside, it will have high probability that it's going to break our daily as well. Awesome. Okay. Euro Cad, this one's going to be at my pace this time. And then I have to go deal with putting out a small fire. Sorry, Euro Cad, there we go. Alright. I just want to remove this quick. Alright. Alright. Okay. What do we do? Monthly time frame, bring it all the way back out, right? We have to know where we are to know where we're going, okay? What do? Identify the time frame's area of sensitivity with a different color. Start to drag it down. We're looking for horizontal buy and sell pressure, boom, right? Here's horizontal buy and sell pressure, especially since after 2013 we have horizontal sell pressure, right? Okay, monthly zone. Copy paste, bring it down. We're looking for horizontal buy and sell pressure. That looks more like a weekly zone. And boom, here we have what? Buy pressure. Here we see price trading in between above and below. These are stop hunts, okay? Market reaction to fundamentals. However, once price came back above, it started to see more respect from this area of sensitivity. Okay, so we identified our monthly upper, monthly lower. Can we identify here our weekly mid-range from the monthly time frame? Probably. I want to thin this out a bit. Okay, boom. Let's bring it down, drag it. Do you see mid-range sensitivity? Okay, so let's identify here. Okay, Again, our weekly mid-range zone is not as strong as our monthly zone. So there are times where price kind of blows through and comes back. However, you do see for the most part that there is some respect on the mid-range, right? As you can see that there is a level of respect here at our mid-range zone. Okay, so that's our weekly mid-range. All right, so what's happening now in terms of price? Buy pressure is now reaching our monthly upper zone here on EuroCAD, right? If buy pressure is able to break this monthly zone to the upside, where's it going to go? Definitely previous high, okay? Definitely previous high. However, we do know that buy pressure is going to have a hell of a time right now trying to beat sell pressure to the upside, okay? So this is the beautiful thing of adding zones. It's very simple, right? We just identified where the battlegrounds are. Here's a battleground. Here's a battleground. 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 So let's make sense. Just simple. Let's say you are a buyer. Okay, let's say buyers are here and they're making their way and they break their monthly zone to the upside. Where's this next high probability move? Where's this next area of sensitivity, sell pressure? Significant area. Weekly, right? Boom. If buy pressure is able to break its weekly mid-range zone to the upside, where's this next area of significant sell sensitivity? Boom. It's monthly zone. Okay? And so forth. You just continue to go. Okay? This is the simplicity. There are no trend lines. There are no Fibonacci. There are no moving averages. If buy pressure is able to break this monthly zone to the upside, do we need moving average to tell us who has control? No, we do not. Okay? So simplify the complicated. Okay, I appreciate everybody who joined me during today's FXG Live. That's it for today. I gotta go put out a fire. All right, chat soon. Hope everybody has a great day. Keep rocking, keep learning, and definitely